Hey, DJ Angelo here and welcome to lesson number 2 of DJ Pro AI on your smartphone. Being a great DJ isn't just about your performance in the moment, it's also about how well prepared you are in advance. So if you're just starting out, here's some important tools and music theory. For mixing tracks side by side, a more intuitive layout is available by tapping on the waveform icon. This gives us scrolling vertical waveforms with the playhead in the center and a beat grid applied to each track. The grid is a useful guide for mixing and features a thin line marking every beat and a thicker line marking every 4 beats, known as a bar. And if I go back into the settings, then appearance, and then turn show bar numbers on, the grid will now show us how many bars are in the track as it plays. And we can also count along with it like this. Let's stop the track here. As you just heard, the song kicks in at bar 9, which means the intro of this track is 8 bars long, which is also 32 beats. This 8-bar section is what's known as a phrase, and it's one of the most common building blocks of Western music. Other phrases can include verses, choruses, breakdowns, basically a major change in the music which we can hear and also often see in the waveform structure. Understanding and anticipating these changes will help us mix more creatively, and as DJ Pro AI offers 8 more cue points for each track, we can assign them as visual references as well as performance tools. So first cue up your track to a desired position, which I'm doing at the start of this new phrase at bar 9. Then press on the Performance panel button to access the 5 performance tabs. Select the cue points panel and then tap on a plus icon to assign a new cue point, which in DJ Pro AI is arranged in this formation. We can even activate quantize, which will snap our cue points perfectly on beat according to the grid, even if we're slightly off. So I've added the first cue point, which is now assigned to the track at 15 seconds in. Tapping on the small pen icon activates edit mode, where we can delete it by tapping on the X or rename it by tapping on the drop down arrow. I'm going to call this cue point build up and then exit edit mode. Let's add some more cue points, but rather than cue them all by hand, I'm going to make use of the skip feature to quickly jump ahead in perfect increments of 32 beats and then assign cue points to what appears to be key phrases in the track. Okay, so I've added and renamed all of the new cue points according to their characteristics, and if you want to do the same, you'll be able to see the track position of each cue point in the time-elapse display above. Cue points 2, 4 and 6 I would consider as choruses, so I've labelled them chorus 1, 2 and 3. Cue points 3 and 5 are drops, so I've labelled them drop 1 and drop 2. And finally, cue point 7 is a 16-bar outro. So with these extra cue points, I now have the possibility to rearrange the track in real time as it plays, which is a technique I like to call a cue jump. So for example, I can cue jump straight to chorus 2 after the build-up, and completely skip chorus 1, which will shorten the track in a non-disruptive way. On the other hand, I can repeat phrases to extend the track or completely remix it using different cue points. And thanks to the quantize feature, which is currently set to half a beat intervals, this helps me to stay perfectly in time and on beat. Quantization by nature will also restrict when you can trigger cue points, so for more flexibility, you can choose a smaller interval or disable quantization completely to rely on your own timing. Okay, so I've taken the same approach and applied new cue points to track A. So we have cue point 1 on the build-up, cue point 2 on the breakdown, cue point 3 on a drop with the Love You vocal, cue points 4, 5, 6 and 7 all have the Good Time vocal on the drop, and cue point 8 is an 8-bar outro. Let's try another cue jump technique, and this time I'm going to play the track from cue point 4. On the last beat before the drop, I'm going to stop the deck and then jump to cue point 7 on beat so that it adds a cool turntable breaking sound effect before the drop. But because the deck will have been stopped, I'll need to hold cue point 7 down until I press play again on the deck.
Okay, so I've shown you some different ways of performing with cue points and preparing your music. See you in the next lesson for your first mix.